Yeah, mic check 1 2 1 2. Hey, 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 hey. If I could freestyle, well, I'd have freestyle right now. But I don't rap. Hey, shout out to all the rappers who want to rap but don't freestyle. Y'all niggas fucking the game up. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I gotta get an intro, man. Somebody help me out. I gotta get something to kind of start this show off with. But hey, anyways, welcome back. Episode 2. Your boy, Dizzle, Unofficial Sports Podcast of Atlanta. Welcome back. Shout out to everybody who listened to my last podcast. I really, really do appreciate it. I really appreciate the feedback, the comments, for everybody who thought it was funny, for people who thought it was informative. I really appreciate you taking the time out and listening to it. It was an hour long. Some of you niggas out there gave me about 5 minutes, and I appreciate the 5 minutes, but, you was kind of like, man, hey, get to it. With the video at, I can't sit here and listen to stuff. I understand it's a microwave society. People attention span is very short. And, hey, I'm cool with that. This may not be for you, but I appreciate everybody who took time out, listened to it. Really, really do appreciate it, man. I really, really do appreciate it. Another shout out to my wife, shout out to my kids. This podcast is brought to you by them. I called her today and I said, hey, baby, I need you to take the keys. I need to leave the house. So I need to go ahead and put one out to these streets. Get some out to these streets. And she was like, cool, baby, we'll leave. And so, because of y'all and because y'all leaving the house, it's quiet now. And I'm able to record. And I really appreciate that. Also, shout out to the maintenance man at my job, man. Big shout out to him. Because of you, dog, you saved me a trip to the grocery store. You hooked your boy up with 2 rolls of tissue. And I really appreciate that, man. A lot of people wouldn't have done that. And I really, really didn't want to go to the grocery store, man. So you hooked me up with 2 rolls of tissue. They were thin as hell. I think maybe it scratched my ass, when I wiped too hard. But I really do appreciate the thought of you giving me that tissue so I had to go by the store. Last shout out is to all the Saints fans. Yeah, fuck y'all. Don't really like y'all. I kind of hope that you get heartburn or something for eating Cajun food, and I hope your training camp goes shitty. So yeah, that's about it for my shout outs. So let's jump right on into the sports, man. A lot of stuff been going on. You got the MLB jumping off. I don't know a lot about Major League Baseball. I don't watch Major League Baseball that much. One thing I do know is the Braves have signed Matt Kemp. I don't know if that doesn't really mean anything to me right now because the Braves are still losing. But Matt Kemp was a good addition. It's a rebuild process, so we just gonna wait on that. That's baseball for you in a nutshell. That the baseball season is going on right now. Also, the Olympics is going on. I guess I watch it because ain't nothing else on TV right now. Really interested in track and field. Usain Bolt, all those sexy women from Jamaica and stuff, like they be all fit and stuff, be running. That's a good sight to see. I don't know about y'all, but if you ain't been checking out track and field, especially women, check out track and field, man. It's entertaining because it's running, it's fast, and then women, boy, god damn, women be having some. But anyway, I'm married. I love you, baby. So that's going on too. Olympics going on, but let's talk about what's going on in the NFL. Make it say, no, baby. Look, man, NFL is kicking off. As of today, we're going to get our first game on Sunday, the Hall of Fame, and we're going to have football every Sunday until February. It's that time of season. Hey, if if you didn't get saved during the off season, you better hope you don't die during this football season because you're going to hell. Because I know you ain't going to be going to church during football season. I have a hard time going to church during football season. You know, so shout out to everybody who try to get saved in the off season and you start ending up missing church during football season. I think God can kind of understand that. I think so. I hope so, right? Yeah, that didn't make sense. I hope so, though. So, yeah, the NFL jumping off, man. You know, everybody in training camp. You know, but let's talk about training camp real quick before we get too far ahead of ourselves. People are making conclusions about teams during training camp. And I'm like, folks, it's training camp. What the hell conclusion could you make about a team and about a player during training camp? You know, I'm seeing video of Josh Norman getting burnt by Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon, how do you pronounce his name? And people are like, he overhyped, he overrated. Man, it's practice, man. I'm like, hey, wait till Sunday before we make that decision, man. You know, yeah, he had a real good year last year at Carolina. And he getting his ass burnt in practice from what we saw. That doesn't necessarily mean the kid was overrated, man. He wouldn't got that paper, so I ain't mad at him. But, you know, he balled last year. Also, you know, video about Matt Ryan getting picked off by Kyle Shanahan. You know, and I'm like, it's a teaching moment. It's practice. Kyle Shanahan went out there guarding a fucking tight end, playing defense on tight end and getting picked off. Man, it's a teaching moment, man. Like, we know Matt Ryan threw a whole bunch of interceptions last year. So, like, I ain't tripping about that. I do not care that Matt Ryan threw an interception at training camp. That's the best time to throw all the interceptions. Hell, I'm like, throw all the interceptions you need to throw in training camp. Get that shit out your system. You know, because come Sunday, I need you to, you know, have it together. To throw, hey, proceeding to throw all of them. Hell, throw everybody. Throw an interception every time you throw the ball if I give a damn training camp. So, you know, a few of the things about the NFL I want to talk about before I start getting into my Falcons is Trey Mason is missing, man. If you guys are not aware of the story, Trey Mason is a running back for the Los Angeles Rams, and I don't know if he went AWOL, but he is ghost. He is incognito. Nobody knows where he is. Nobody knows what kind of state of mind he's in, and it's kind of a sad story. You know, I wish your brother well. I wish that he comes home. You know, I wish that he report to training camp. I wish he get the help that he need. You know, it's kind of a sad story, man. You know, a guy who probably you worked so hard in your life to get to a certain point. Now you get to this point, your mind is just, you know, your mind ain't right. And that's one thing that I don't take for granted. Every day I thank God for waking me up with a sound mind in order to, you know, live this journey. And so, you know, we hope Trey Mason finds his way home, gets back right. Hope he finds the help that he needs. And we just pray that everything is on the open up with brother, you know. On some other news, Le'Veon Bell, you retarded ass nigga, can't stop smoking weed. You know, and he's not the only one. There's a few guys in the NFL right now who can't put the weed down. And you get suspended, and you know, you losing money because you want to smoke weed. That's backwards to me. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against people who smoke weed. I don't think there's anything wrong with people who smoke weed. Kinda. Right? I don't smoke a few blunts myself. I don't see what the hype is about. It's alright. You know, it ain't pussy. But it's alright. But you got guys out there who are literally losing thousands and millions of dollars because they can't put the weed down. You know, Josh Gordon just got reinstated back into the NFL. He missed a whole entire season because he couldn't stop smoking weed. You got to be an ignorant nigga to get fired for smoking weed. And here's the thing, man. If your job don't drug test you, cool, smoke away. I don't know how it's gonna affect your performance, but if your job ain't checking, do your thing. But if you know your job is checking you and you making millions of dollars and you still smoking weed, nigga, you stupid. That man probably make what I make in 2 years on a goddamn Sunday. Scratch that. That man probably make what I make in 5 years on a goddamn Sunday, and he want to smoke weed. For all future athletes, look, man, put the pot down. If you trying to be you trying to be somebody, and you want to make some of yourself, you don't need little retarded stuff like that to affect that. In my rationale, and I'm be very vague, and there are exceptions to this rule. There are two types of people that smoke weed all the time. We ain't talking about people who smoke weed all the time, right? We ain't talking about the people who just smoke on the weekend, who may smoke on the holidays, something like that. We're talking about people who wake and bake, smoke in the morning, smoke in the afternoon, smoke before they go to bed, smoke every day of the week. There's two types of those people, I feel. It's folks who smoke who ain't got shit, and it's folks who smoke who got everything. Snoop Dogg got everything, so he just smoke when he want to smoke. But you got niggas I know in my life, personally, who ain't got shit. So they say, I don't care, I'm just gonna smoke the smoke. But if you find yourself anywhere between, you don't need to be smoking so much. Now I repeat, ain't nothing wrong with a little puff give, but if it affects your money, if it affects your performance and your state of mind, which ultimately affects your money, then come on now. And earlier I referenced it ain't like his pussy. If pussy affected my money, I wouldn't even be messing with pussy that much. That's why I got married. I love you, baby. So, yeah, man, that's some top news stuff. Let's get down to your Falcons, man. Let's start off. Training camps have been going on for about 2 weeks now. We signed Dwight Freeney, and we're gonna talk about him later. But that's good news to me. We signed Dwight Freeney, and we are seeing some promise in our rookies. I mentioned in my last podcast that Keanu Neal was a thumper. He would come down and he was a hard hitter, and he's showing that in training camp. Now, I totally agree. It's not the safest thing to do during training camp, but it's promising. It's promising. I like it. Drayvon Campbell, and I hope I pronounced that right. My bad, brother. His mama ghetto called. I think it's Drayvon though. A lot of potential. Big guy. I went out to the practice last weekend, and he's probably the biggest linebacker on that team, and he's fast. I'm gonna talk a little more in depth about him also, but it's promise. Muhammad Sanu's looking decent. Brooks Reed looking better. The team, according to this training camp, one, hasn't been any injuries, any major injuries, season-ending injuries, should I say. The dynamic of the team is starting to change, and we'll talk about that a little further. And I feel like the team is on the up and up. Last podcast, I said that though it has been officially said, but the team is in rebuild mode right now. And now, if you're a Falcon fan and you've been a Falcon fan for a moment, and you know what was going on with the Mike Smith era, you're starting to see that foundation. And you gotta like what you see as a Falcon fan. You have to. So, that's This is a good thing. So let's jump back to the beginning. I don't want to be long for all the folks with a short attention span, but I want to make this short and sweet. Let's talk about Dwight Freeney. Hell yeah, man. I am so happy he signed with the Falcons. And the Falcons was able to get him. Dwight Freeney is going to help this team. And there's no doubt in my mind about that. He's going to help this team. There has been some acquisitions in the past where the Falcons brought in an older vet, and that vet actually hurt the team. And here's the difference. When we brought in Steven Jackson, we took carries away from Devontae Freeman and other potential running backs because we thought we had something in Steven Jackson. That ultimately hurted the team. You feel? See that? Dwight Freeney, if he comes over and he doesn't even do half of what he's done in his career, or he don't even do half of what he did last year, he's not going to hurt the team at all. You know, he won't be taking snaps away from the younger players that we have. Right now, I don't see that going on right now. I see that they literally brought him in for situational downs to rush the passer, and that's it. You know? So I feel like it's one of those low risk, high rewards situations. You know, and so I'm talking to Pat. Dwight Freeney had 8 sacks last year. He had 3 forced fumbles. On the ranking for sacks, with the number 1 sack leader being J.J. Watt with 17.5 sacks, a goddamn monster. Dwight Freeney tied in the 22nd place in sacks in the NFL. The 22nd. You know. Falcons sack leader last year was Vic Beasley with 4 sacks. You know where he tied at? 92nd place. 92nd place. He tied with 4 sacks. So, from that standpoint, and not to knock shade on Vic Beasley, he was a rookie. He had to learn the game. Dwight Freeney last year would have been the best. He would have been our sack leader last year. Hell, we only had 19 sacks. He did 8. You know, he by himself done almost half of what the Falcons did as a team last year. That's what I mean. It's a low risk, high reward. You bring him in. If he levels out and only does 4 or 5 sacks, guess what? No loss. But if he comes in and he gives you 10 sacks, and matter of fact, let me talk about that. Those 8 sacks was like in 10 games. He didn't even play a full season. He went from sitting on the couch to jumping into the Arizona Cardinals team, I think I want to say like week 4 or 5, and he played 10 games, 11 games. Got 8 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. You know, Beasley played all 16 games, I think, and got 4 fumbles. And the rest of them folks on the Falcons who, I'm not even going to try to find their name on this damn list. This list I'm looking through is like 10 pages. Yeah, I'm not about to look for everybody on the Falcons, how many, where they ranked up. It's ridiculous. So it's a win-win situation, I feel. We're not paying him a lot of money. His contract is incentive-based, so that means the more he produces on the field, the more money he get paid. He don't produce shit, you don't really pay him shit. You know? But what I want to do is I want to set the expectation. I do want to set the expectation. The Falcons had 19 sacks last year. You throw Dwight Freeney in, you throw in the changes in the defense that we're doing for this year, I'm not expecting the Falcons to move into the top 10 of sacks in the league. I'm really not. That's me being honest. You know, um, I would hope they wouldn't be last. I would hope, but I'm not looking for a real big number in increases in sacks. The team, like I said, the foundation is coming, but I can't quite say that the team is there yet. There's a lot of potential on Vic Beasley's end. There's a lot of potential in this shifting players around, but one thing about potential is you're not doing it now. So my expectation is not now that we signed Dwight Freeney. Oh man, we going our front seven gonna be a beast. Nah, our front seven is definitely gonna be better than they were last year. Our front seven is definitely gonna be better than they were in the past. But I'm not really expecting a tremendous improvement. And the reason why I say a tremendous improvement, too, because one, according to everybody else, our schedule's a lot tougher. We're playing, I want to say, 8 of the 11 playoff teams last year. We're playing some decent quarterbacks. We see Drew Brees twice a year. We see Cam twice a year. We're going to see Jameis Winston. He's on the up and up, I guess. We're going to see Aaron Rodgers. We're going to see some good quarterbacks this year. So I wouldn't be disappointed if we still struggle in that sack department, but hopefully, we disrupt the quarterback a little more this year. It may not lead into sacks, but maybe it can lead into some rush throws. Maybe it can lead to some bad throws. That's my expectation with that. I think bringing Dwight Freeney in is a great signing. And worst case, he may can teach somebody a little something. And that's I've been hearing a lot of people say that. Oh, Vic Beasley, having a guy like Dwight Freeney in that can really help Vic Beasley out and shit. I don't know, man. One thing about life is sometimes it's hard, especially when you're an older person, to teach these young jokers something new. Teach them young jokers something. They want to do stuff their way. Dwight Freeney been playing in the league for 15 years. There are kids going into high school now who weren't born when Dwight Freeney started playing in the NFL. So these kids that he could be mentoring, who's to say they'll take his advice? They might say, okay, I got you. But, they got their own skill. They got their own way. Here's the funny thing about it. A lot of people told Dwight Freeney that whole spin move was no-go. You don't do that in the NFL. And guess what? Did he listen? Hell nah. He kept on spinning, and he done spun his way to goddamn a Hall of Fame. So, I'm not putting a lot of emphasis on him teaching. Thomas Dimitroff made a good point where he was like, look, we didn't bring him in to coach. We brought him in to rush the passer. And I'm like, fucking A, I agree with that. I don't want to see Dwight Freeney on the sideline coaching guys up and everything. I'd rather see him on the field rushing the goddamn passer, in my opinion. And if them other guys who need coaching up, that's what they're paying the coach for. You don't bring a damn player in to coach. You pay the damn coach. And if he do need too much coaching up, they need to get the hell on. In the NFL, you got to be ready to ball. So, great sign on the Falcons. Fans are happy because the fans are familiar with the name. The pass rush is semi-addressed, in my opinion, still. And, like I said, worst case, worst. If he doesn't do anything, it doesn't really hurt us. We're not putting ourselves in the worst predicament by bringing him in. It's honestly, it's really a win-win. It's a win-win. So, enough about Dwight. Let's talk about these promising young players at the Falcons camp. Keanu Neal. I said in my last podcast that I like him. I like his playing style. I like his hard hitting. He worked out with Cam Chancellor, somebody he idoled, somebody he wanted to mimic his game after. And Dan Quinn likes that because Dan Quinn liked what he had in Cam Chancellor. I like that because I like Cam Chancellor. Probably one of my favorite players in the NFL. You know, so when I was at the practice last Sunday, and a part of the practice, I only focused on Keanu Neal. Only focused on him. I just watched him. You know, and one thing about going to these Falcon practice, you can't watch everybody. There's a lot going on. So sometimes you just gotta pick players to watch. So during this time, I was only watching Keanu Neal. And during this time, they were doing 11-on-11 scrimmage, and I saw him meet Eric Weems across the middle, and laid his ass out. You know, and it wasn't a vicious hit, too. You can tell he wasn't trying to make him drop the ball. He literally ran up on him, stopped, but basically with his body made contact with him to let him know that if this was a game situation, I would have tackled you. And he leveled Eric Wing's ass. And we've been missing that. Willie Moe used to do that. But every time Willie Moe did it, man, Willie Moe would pull a goddamn shoulder or get in concussion protocol. So it's like we need that. You know, excited about that. Then not too long after that, maybe it was before that, I see him getting a tussle with Jacob Tamme because he kind of leveled Jacob Tamme on some check shit. Like he had no reason to hit Jacob Tamme. Jacob Tamme was just running across the middle, and the play wasn't even coming to Jacob Tamme. He just hit Jacob Tamme just because. I like that. Jacob Tamme got mad, got in his face. You know, you're an old vet. You don't want no rookie hitting you, putting you on your ass. I mean, when I was playing football and you hit me and put me on my ass, oh, I didn't like that either. So, but it just shows what type of player and what type of potential he's going to have. He's going to thump guys. You know, the biggest thing on him is wrapping up. I watched the Florida versus who Florida was playing. Forget who Florida was playing. I think maybe it was Ole Miss or something. I forget. I really do forget. But there were at least 2 or 3 times where he came down and tried to make a big hit, and the guy bounced off of him, and he didn't wrap up and make the tackle. You know, one thing about being a safety, 9 times out of 10, you're almost a last resort. So it's like you can't miss that tackle. You know, so that's one thing that worries me about him. I'm worried that, he's trying to put guys on tape more so than making a play. And also I'm kind of worried that making these collisions will result in this whole concussion protocol, which the NFL is very sensitive to, or ultimately, hurting yourself. So hopefully these are conversations that somebody's having with him, like, hey, let's be smart. Sometimes it's a good thing to lay a hit, get your team hyped, get the defense hyped, but ultimately we need you to be safe because we need you out here. We're not deep in that strong safety position. Kamal Ishmael is probably the number 1 backup, and after that, I don't know who we got. So I'd rather see Keanu on the field making tackles, occasionally thumping guys, standing, keeping the coverage, versus trying to lay wood and ultimately getting sidelined, because he's got a shoulder sting or, concussion protocols and stuff. So it's, I like it. It does have some cons to it, but you gotta like it. You gotta like it. And I think, and it's the funny thing about it, people were not happy with him being a draft pick, but now that this information is getting out, in the news via social media and stuff, people are actually kind of excited and people are actually interested to actually see him play. So, way to go to make a name for yourself during training camp. But just let's stay healthy. Devondre Campbell, man, there's been talk about how he could potentially, start, or he can potentially find himself in rotation, and he. So I'm telling myself I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna watch him. The practice I watched him, I didn't really see a lot. He wasn't with the first team. He was actually with the second team alongside with Sean Witherspoon, who, in my opinion, I don't know if that's the Sean Witherspoon that left. I think he kind of lost himself, playing basically riding the bench in Arizona. So I'd be interested to see his development also. But Campbell is a big guy. Big guy. Gosh, he's a big guy. Like, go find a picture of him standing next to somebody. You be like, who the hell is that dude? Yes, he's a big Jadeveon Clowney looking ass nigga. Like, he's a big guy. And he's fast. I seen him rushing the quarterback. And here's the funny thing about it. In practice, you're not allowed to hit the quarterback. That shit is not tolerated at all. So you don't really know how effective these guys are getting to the quarterback because they're not actually hitting Matt Ryan. But looking at him, man, I think a few times he was actually getting Matt Ryan before Matt Ryan was able to release the ball. Not Matt Ryan, but Matt Shaw was able to release the ball, and I like it. Promising. So right now, I'm feeling very, 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 very satisfied with our 2016 draft. I think we definitely got a potential starter and leader in Keanu Neal. Deion Jones is a decent prospect. I don't think anybody's doubting him. I think the learning curve is bothering him a little bit. He's not really playing. He's kind of thinking and reacting versus actually acting. So he will come along, but I'm interested to see him in preseason. And this Campbell kid, Dravion Campbell, damn, I keep fucking his name up. I like him. So, big shout out to what that going on in training camp. I feel that the Falcons are on their way to having a decent season. And when I say decent season, oh man, one take shouted, no editing. I was watching NFL.com, right? Well, looking at NFL.com, and I saw a video where some motherfucker, I do not know who these people were predicting the Falcons record. And they had us 5-11, if I'm not mistaken. But in the video, we were losing to every goddamn body. And towards the end of the schedule, they was giving us wins because they was feeling sorry for us. They were like, oh, we can't have the Falcons going to it. So, yeah, they'll win this game. Yeah, let's give them this game. What the fuck? Are we the Cleveland Browns? Are we the Miami Dolphins? Huh? Are we the goddamn New Orleans Saints? 5-11? Get the fuck out of here, man. See, that's why I have a hard time, too, watching some of these national broadcast sports shows. And that's why I decided to make my own goddamn sports show. Because some of these folks, they don't know what's going on with our team. They have no goddamn clue. So they just up there making up shit. 5-11? Got us getting swept by New Orleans? Got us losing to the Carolina Panthers twice again. Man, I wanted to go up to my TV and slap the shit out the TV, but I knew I would ultimately end up breaking my TV versus breaking that guy's face. So I didn't do it. But that pissed me off. And here's the thing. Yes, according to last year's record, I do understand that we have a tougher schedule. We're going to see better quarterbacks. We're going to see better franchises. But this team is not a 5-11 team. This team is, in my opinion, and I'm a homer, all right, I'm a homer. This team probably shouldn't have even been 8-8 last year. It should have had a better record last year. You know, we know what all those fuck-ups were last year. But ultimately, they should have been a better record than 8-8 last year. Not to say this team is a Super Bowl team. I'm not sitting here saying this team is a Super Bowl team. You know, but this team definitely has potential to be a wild card team and probably a division leader. It's going to be tough. I feel like the Carolina Panthers do have a good team, but that team is not like the team was like that team barely made before last year. The damn team barely made the playoffs. Whether you remember or not, they had to beat us the last game of the season in order to get to the damn playoffs. You know, and the year before that, they wasn't shit either. So it's not like they the fucking Patriots. That's not, you know, they not. I'm not calling them a dynasty yet. You know, they only had technically one good season. And here's the funny thing about that. The Falcons had one good season in 2012. Should have been to the goddamn Super Bowl. And guess what? They had some shitty seasons after that. How many teams go to the Super Bowl the previous year and come back the next year and don't perform nowhere near the way they performed the year before that? That's why this whole concept of harder schedule, tougher schedule. I say the tougher schedule because of the personnel we're playing. You know, we're seeing tougher, you know, components, you know, players and things like that. But it's like what they did last year ain't going to have shit really to do with what they do this year. Injuries affect all that. You know, guys' state of mind affects all that. You know, so I just had to get it off my chest. You know, that was some disrespectful shit. If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. I don't even want them talking about my goddamn team. Like if I could write NFL Network and say, hey, don't fucking talk about the Falcons. Like talk about, you know, the rest of those teams. Don't talk about my Falcons. Don't say a goddamn thing about my Falcons, or I'm gonna go pick my niggas up and we're gonna come up there and we're gonna goddamn regulate, disrespect my team. See, that's how much a fan I am. You know, you disrespect my team, I take that shit personally. You know, I was a football coach. When people just talk shit about my youth football team, they just make my heart pump. I used to take that shit personally. You know, that's my family. That's my squad. Don't talk about them. If you ain't got shit to say, don't say nothing at all.